Alrighty, traders. So let's get straight into what we're talking about here today. Obviously, you saw the thumbnail. So let's get straight into it. Before I start, guys, I'm running a webinar today. If you're interested in learning how I personally trade the markets, what is my system, what is my approach, how do I scan the markets, how do I find what's called A quality setups that give over 90% win-loss ratio, what's the exact steps? I'm running a webinar today. First link in the description. Now, let's talk about this biggest shock that things are completely changing in our life right now, and they have done ever since what's called, the COVID shock, right? The massive COVID shock in our world. And we can see here, what we're looking at right now is the interest rates. And we're looking at the interest rates. We're looking at the 30-year interest rates, possibly even the 2-year interest rates. But look at this here. Look at this here. The 2-year interest rate is doing what? Coming down, coming down, coming down. Look at this here. If you actually draw a trend line, okay, if you draw a trend line coming all the way down from there, look at there. It's completely broken out. The greatest shock of literally in a couple of decades is happening underneath our feet right now. Same with the 30s as well too. Look at this here. Same with the 30s. We're seeing a complete, look at this here, down from the 80s to the 90s, 2000, even the 2010, and then 2010 through there, and now 2020. The greatest shock of our lifetime has happened. And I honestly believe that whatever we have seen for the last 40, 50 years about asset prices and all that sort of stuff, and savers are losers and all, and property prices and the stock market and all that sort of stuff when it comes to long term, I believe that we're going through that reset is already starting to take place here right now. We're seeing this here. We're coming all the way down. And so I honestly believe, which is a good thing, right? Because we're going to go back to like in the 80s when I was born. For me personally, it was like, having high interest rate savings accounts, instead of like 0.1%. And I honestly believe that this greatest shock here is going to completely change everything in our lives and the way that we actually move forward. And the low interest rate environment, which, could you imagine back in the 80s, people say, oh my goodness, it's like people in the 80s that are paying like 9 and 10% interest for their home loan, now they're getting it for a few percent. So anyway, so that's what's happening right now, guys. This is the greatest shock that I see happening moving forward. And I really do believe that what is happening right here is going to completely change the landscape of the way that we think about our economy, what's happening right now. And this truly here, I really truly believe that this here is going to completely change. And again, I believe things are going to still move, we're going to have really good economies, right? But I don't believe we're going to see the rocket ships that we've actually seen when it comes to asset prices and stuff like that. For some reason, the low interest rates really created a massive floor against the asset prices, stuff like that. But I do see when it comes to the interest rates, look at this here, a big move up and a big move down. So we probably have peaked out. When it comes to these interest rates, we're probably maybe even going to do something like this and then maybe come down again through here. They're already starting to come down through there. I believe we're probably going to find a floor through around about this sort of 3% interest rates. And then I believe we're going to start to see, I'll make our way back up through there. Over the next couple of decades, guys, that's probably going to see, right? We've seen this move down through here. The greatest shock of our lifetime is this here. And that's going to completely change things. So the way that we've been seeing this world for the last 2, 3, 4 decades, and the way that things have been, it's not going to be how they're going to be moving forward. And that's what I believe the whole great reset is all about.